Good morning, spiritual companions. Today we are reading God, the Substance of All Form by Joel S. Goldsmith. Continuing Chapter 5, Treatment as the Consciousness of Truth. Page 68. Treatment necessary for all human appearances. Every appearance that comes to us from morning to night, or from night to morning, regarding the human scene, needs treatment. Even when the appearance is good, it needs treatment. A person may be in perfect health this moment, and yet by tomorrow the entire picture may have changed. In the human scene, we might know a perfectly pure-minded and moral person today, and by tomorrow the whole situation might be reversed. Therefore, do not be satisfied to accept even a good human appearance, but translate that too into the spiritually real, of which the good is but the form. Realize that where the good human appearance is, actually God is. Any sense of goodness is not personal goodness. Any sense of health is not personal health. God is really the goodness, and God is really the health. Unless you recognize that, you can be tripped on the most vulnerable spot we all have, and that is being satisfied with human health or human wealth, good human appearances. Everyone in the world is healthy some of the time, but that does not prevent his being sick at another time. Therefore, the real treatment must not be reserved for such appearances as sin, disease, drunkenness, or accident, but you must always be alert that you are not deceived by the appearance of even good or healthy humanity. Even in the midst of good, you can recognize, I am not fooled by that appearance either. God is the real health and the real goodness, and God is the permanency of health and goodness. In the metaphysical world, most treatment is reserved for sin, disease, lack, limitation, death. But in our work, just as much treatment is necessary for healthy or wealthy human appearances. Too much of human health and human wealth is here today and gone tomorrow. Your treatment is the realization that the human health or human wealth is not the reality, but that right here is the health and wealth of the one life, God, permanent, infinite, omnipresent, and omnipotent. That is your treatment to every human appearance. Treatment is necessary to every appearance until we become so firm in our consciousness of the reality of God that even when we are looking at healthy people, we are treating. We are not treating them, but we are treating our concept of what we see in them. The moment we observe a need, we are called upon for treatment. Why? We are not treating a person. We are treating our concept of what is appearing. God is infinite and is all. Therefore, all there is God. And we are never treating God, are we? But suppose we are seeing sick or sinning humanity out there. Is it actually out there to be treated, or is it in our concept of what is appearing? On this point, we differ from most metaphysical teachings, because in some of them, students are instructed never to give anyone a treatment unless it is asked for. That is not true in the infinite way. We cannot and do not accept appearances. Every time any phase of error or even good presents itself to me, I consciously translate it and realize that right there is God manifest. If the individual is at all receptive, he will be healed, whether or not he knows that he has been given a treatment. But whether there is any receptivity in him or not, the important thing, as far as I am concerned, is that I have not accepted an appearance for reality. The treatment is just the same whether a person has asked for help or has not. Truth remains the same. There is not one truth for a person who knows enough to ask for help, and a different truth for one who does not. There is but one truth, and that is the truth that we must know in order that we may be free. Chapter 6. Developing a Healing Consciousness. Remember that the treatment is not the healing agency. The healing agency is the consciousness that is developed through the realization of the treatment. It is the Christ consciousness of the practitioner that is the healing agency. Everyone has that Christ consciousness as a potential, but it has to be developed, and its development is begun by overcoming in some degree the fear of disease and the fear or love of sin. Only that consciousness which has, in a measure, been purged of its hates and fears is a healing agency. People are drawn to the practitioner who has a realized Christ consciousness, and that is why such a practitioner is so busy. Therefore, in the earlier stages of your work, treatment is necessary, or at least helpful, to lift consciousness up to the point of realization. By treatment, I do not mean any formula, any special words, but I mean realizing, no matter what the claim is that is brought to you, that right there is the wholeness, harmony, dominion, and perfection of the one God, and that harmony is, therefore, universal, impartial, and impersonal. God, the only activity. When called upon for help, where the substance of the human body seems to be involved, it must be clear that spirit, being the only substance, must be the substance and the form of the body, and spirit, being omnipresent, the perfect form, must also always be present, regardless of the appearance. Spirit in all its infinite form and variety is omnipresent, while the senses say that the power or substance is in the form. Spiritual illumination reveals that the power, substance, and law are ever in spirit. Let us assume that the claim is one of inaction or underaction. The bowels, the blood, or some other part of the body may be affected. your first realization would be that all action is the activity of consciousness, that it would be an impossibility for the body to have either good or bad action, because all action is the activity of consciousness, and this activity expresses as body action. The body has no action of its own at all. So every time there is a claim or belief of discordant activity in the body, whether inaction, underaction, or overaction, there is only one answer. All action is God action. Mind, as an instrument of God, is the only actor, the only action. The body merely reflects that action. Therefore, for anyone to attempt to treat a hand, an arm, or a foot, or some organ or function of the body, would be like trying to treat the walls to change their color or form or texture. It cannot be done. Remember, mind is the only instrument of action, and therefore, we do not treat the action itself. Our treatment is the realization of the truth that all action is the activity of consciousness. Only one life. Sometimes claims are presented where the fear of death is involved. It is then that we turn to the realization of life. What is life? There is only one life, and that life is God. The life which is God cannot die. Neither can the life which is God pass on. Let us not fool ourselves by the use of the expression, "There is no death, he passed on." God cannot pass on, and God is the only life. There is only one answer to any claim that relates to the fear of death, and that is that life has no opposite, for life is infinite. Life, the life which is God, is universal. It is the life of all being, whether the life of man, woman, child, animal, or plant. Life is always God. There is no other life. Whatever you know about the life which is God is the truth about the individual life which is appearing as you and as me. End of that section. End of today's reading. A blessed day to you.